Okay, guys, so we are back with part two of this series on what is religion. And yeah, make sure you check out part one so you know where we're at. So, we just broke down the etymology of religion and monastic. And I left you guys with a question. If we're going to be using these terms, you've got to understand what you are placing yourself under an umbrella of. Now, now that you know what this is, right? Let's go further of this. Now, let's look at today's dictionary. And we're going to look at a few dictionaries, but let's just look at dictionary.com and their breakdown of the word religion, okay? Noun, the belief in and worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or gods. Okay? Ideas about the relationship between science and religion is an example. A particular system of faith and worship, or a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. Okay? Phrases: get religion means be converted to religious belief and practices. Okay? Now I find that interesting, right? For modern time now, it's been changed, right? So we're no longer looking at the etymology, which is the real breakdown of the word, which is a state of life bound by monastic vows or action or conduct indicating a belief in a divine power and reverence for and desire to please it. Okay? So when you are birthed, right? So that means your mom and dad, their mom and dad birthed them into the religion, whatever that is. Their great grandfather, grandmother birthed their parents into a religion, and so forth. It has been a programming over thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And you've got to at some point ask questions. So that's why it's really hard, because it's a bounding of your life, right? That is placed upon you like a contract, that you are going to be bound to a particular religion. And then when people start to evolve, grow up, become more mature, ask questions, then a lot of times it's a war, right? But the biggest war is the internal war of self, because there's a fear factor of, am I doing the right thing? You know, that I'm no longer going to be this religion and I want to explore other religions or explore other spiritual pathways or whatever. Sometimes it's even down to, I don't want to be a part of a religion. And then you really have to ask, then what does the word religion mean? And that is why, once you understand what the word, where it came from, the beginning root of the word, what does it mean? That means there's a bounding. That's why there's an eternal fight, because you have been bound into a contract from the moment of birth into something that you have no clue or understanding of. So when you want to change it, you're going to buck up on basically a retaliation, a war, right? You're going to be confronted. Why are you leaving the church? Why are you leaving the religion? Why you're leaving something that's been part of tradition or family? Why? It's all these things. And so confusion comes up, and it's like, why are you fighting me on this? But when you understand the word religion, you're going to understand what took place upon your being. Now, let's go further, right? That was dictionary.com that now brings in a new way, the belief in and worship of superhuman power or powers. Now I need guys to look at this, because this is taking you outside of yourself. So you've been bound to something that takes you outside of yourself, right? Instead of the religion being yourself, right? Pouring into the belief in, the worship of yourself. And we're going to break down the word worship, because that has been such a wrapping, a binding, a war when it comes to that word. And we have to understand why. So, in dictionary.com, they're bringing now superhuman powers. So now it's taking you out of not just belief of yourself. Now you're going to believe in another human, but they have superpowers, superhuman powers. What does that say? What does that really mean? What is that really taking you into? It's not you. It's taking you outside of yourself. So now you're not even looking in that you got superhuman powers, right? It's taking you outside of someone else, something else other than you has super that you need to believe in. And you have to ask yourself, like, where is this going and why? Why? And they bring in especially a god or gods, right? So it's either or, gods or God. One, a mono, or, many, right? Multiple. And so you have to ask, like, what is this really about? Why now is religion about superhuman? So that means the God is a human, right? The God is a human, right? So what does superhuman mean? Which is an adjective. And according to dictionary.com, it says having or showing exceptional ability or powers. Having or showing exceptional ability or powers. I know so many, like you myself, that have superhuman powers that I need to believe in myself, right? I want you guys to think everything has been so programmed. The program you to be looking outside of you, the creator, you, the foundation, you, the all-knowing you, the all-info you, right? They're like, oh no, bypass you, okay? And we're going to bound you, right? We're going to contract you to surpass yourself, not to look at yourself, all right? So let's go further. I really want you guys to get this, right? Let's look at the Cambridge Dictionary. What does the Cambridge Dictionary break down? And then we're going to go through it. Cambridge Dictionary says, a noun, again, here we go. The belief in and worship of a god or gods, or any such system of belief and worship. And they give the example of the Christian religion. Another, an activity that someone is extremely enthusiastic about and does regularly. So religion and activity, right? So football is a religion for those people, is another example. So in part 2 here, not only did we look at the dictionary.com, we also looked at the Cambridge Dictionary. We're going to go further in part 3, because I really want you guys to see, like, everyone has something slightly different. It's all twisting to go outside of you, right? And go back to the basic, the etymology, the breakdown of the word. It is about the state of life bound by monastic vows. And I bet none of y'all made monastic vows that you know of.